Welcome back to BullyBall, a San Francisco 49er podcast. You guys know what week it is. I don't need to tell you. We got my guy Brian Mitchell back on here with me. You guys, if you saw the last Rams video, you know how awesome he was. So when you tune in, say what's up to him. And how you doing today, Brian?
Doing good, man. Looking forward to another good game this weekend. How are you?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good. Leave to Germany in about 2 weeks, so
Nice.
we're getting
I was say all
down to
getting
the
ready.
wire.
Yeah, you're gonna say packing up and everything. That's dope.
Yep. And I'm stressed with the move, but the 49ers are stressing me out even more. It's, it's been a rough couple of weeks for us.
Yeah, and I saw in your promo you had that L up there. I didn't know if that was for saying you were gonna beat us or what you were like going through the last couple of weeks.
Maybe it was both. Maybe it was both. He's talking about the thumbnail if you guys are watching. Yeah, I was holding up the L. I took that picture in Carolina actually. I went to the
Yeah, I
Panthers
saw.
game.
Yeah, I saw you were
And
down there.
so took that picture there. So yeah, that's a good common ground to start with is, you guys are coming off the bye.
Yeah.
Your guys' last win was against the Panthers, and the 49ers last win was against the Panthers. So it's looking a little rough this year, What's going on with these teams in the NFC West?
Yeah, it's not what we expected, right? We were with the NFC. We were looking at being at one of the top, and I don't know what it is. This week though is so big because I think we're chasing a team that I called irrelevant in the Seahawks at the beginning of the season, and right now it looks like they could, looking at their schedule, like they could run away with this thing. So I don't know what happened, but the good thing is it's still close. This weekend is so important to turn it around. But it's a little weird. It is not what we expected at all.
Yeah, definitely. And it's crazy, man, because the Seahawks could be the least talented team in the division, and they're still going to compete to win the division.
It,
Um, Props to Pete Carroll, I guess.
yeah, and props to Gino, like
Gino,
turning
yep.
it around. I mean, he looks great. He definitely looks great. He looks better than Matthew Stafford. So it's crazy, but I mean, again, is it still going to keep it entertaining the whole season?
Yeah, and man, they got some players on that team. This is 49ers Rams, but we're in the NFC West, so we could talk NFC West a little bit before
Yeah,
we jump right in. They got that young corner, Tariq Woolen,
yeah.
like fifth round guy. They got the two tackles. That's the most frustrating part. Two rookie tackles, and they look like they're going to be there for 10 plus years. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, they're
crazy.
stacking up, and then looking at Walker coming in as running back. I mean, he looks crazy, like that. He's going to be around. So like, yeah, big threat. They're a big threat.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we got my cousin Ral hopping on to join us. How's it going today, Ral?
Oh, not too bad.
Man, how's it going? Good to see you.
And yeah, nice to see you guys.
Yeah.
I would say
All
it's going good, but the season's been a little rough to begin with. But, it's we're gonna get through it.
Yeah, it's been rough so far. And since we got the live stream going and we got both of you guys on here, go ahead and tell us a little bit, all the 49er fans, a little bit about when you became a Rams fan and what kind of led you to be a Rams fan. Whoever wants to start.
I mean, I'll start because my story is not that interesting, and I think my brothers are on right now, and they know we picked teams as a kid. We have no rhyme or reason. We all just picked teams. So I got one of the Eagles fans, Packers fans. My dad's a Raiders fan, and I picked the Rams. I don't know why, but I've stuck with them the whole time. I tell people I remember Mark Bolger being coached by Mike Martz. I remember those days. It was like a 1-15 season or 2-14 seasons. Like stuck through them the whole way. So picked them at random, but loved them ever since. Stuck with them, and now again. Got to see him win a Super Bowl last year, so team for life for sure.
Yeah, and mine's similar. I mean, but my dad was a Rams fan, so I just got passed down to me, and none of my other family are Rams fans. So I think I'm pretty sure I'm the only one. But having two large families, and it's kind of odd to only be the only Rams fan, but yeah, no, I definitely remember the Mark Bulger days, you know, I mean, the Jim Everett days. I mean, I was only 5 years old probably when I first started being a Rams fan.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a there's only been a few.
What a ride. Yeah.
You know? So, you know, getting another Super Bowl was, you know, it was huge for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like you said, you know, it's been a ride. It's always up and down in the NFL. But you know, I'm a bit jealous because it's been up and down for both teams, but you guys got the Super Bowl win. How did that feel, you know, after all the years to just win one? 49ers fans, we want to know.
I said the last time I was on, the greatest sports day of my life. Like, it was amazing. The feeling of just watching your team, the team that you love and that you cheered for, win the Super Bowl is just spectacular. And I hope I get to see it again. But if I don't, that was the greatest sports day ever, and I will never ever forget it. It's still an amazing feeling.
Yeah, I got to watch both of the Super Bowls when we won. You know, I watched when we won in St. Louis, you know, with the greatest show on turf, and when we won just last year, you know, down at SoFi. And it was both of the games were not blowouts. You know, they were close. They were both close games. You know, that they stopped the Titans in you know, in '99, just I don't know, about 2 yards short of the touchdown. It was still 8 points to go, but you know, it was still there. It was right there. And then you know, against the Bengals last year, you know, it was again, it was close. You know, it came down to calls, and you know, a last minute touchdown, you know, to Cooper Kupp, and you know, it was amazing. I liked it.
Yeah, and that's got to be extra fulfilling, you know. If it's a blowout, you're happy as hell, but at the same time, it's like you already saw what was happening. So when it's close, you pull it off in the end. It's gotta feel great. So you know, little jealous. You know, we could have caught an interception and changed that future, but it's all right. Didn't happen. So let's hop into this game. So we got the 49ers at 3-4, and we have the Rams at 3-3, fresh off the bye. Um, pivotal matchup in the NFC West. Brian had mentioned it. Seahawks are in the lead right now, and I believe they are 4-3. And you know, this game can kind of swing one of these teams back into the lead of the race, but then the other team is going to keep falling behind. So it's very pivotal. Um, and the first thing I wanted to hop into is, you know, what is your one major key of the game that you think if you win in this area, it's probably going to win you the game?
Yeah. So for me, I was watching. I was happy to see Sean McVay said this on Monday in his press conference, and I think he said he's valuing the short game a little bit more. Like these 20+ yard plays, it's not working. It's not happening. Let's play to the sticks. It's first down, touchdown. Like I think that is the game plan. It needs to be the game plan because the line is beat up. Matthew Stafford is not going to have a lot of time. He's not going to have a lot of time to get that ball out. So I think the key to the game for me is the short game on the offensive side. Got to go the short game.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go back to using Ben Skoranek as a fullback.
Yes,
because the couple games that they used it got them down the field. It got them more first downs than they've had in weeks, and it worked. It worked wonderful, you know. And I still can't figure out how or why they moved away from something that was working when an offensive line is obviously as beat up as ours. I mean, we have who's Allen coming back this week, I believe.
Yep.
So I mean, that's going to be huge, but there's still other holes on the offensive line. So it's, you know, Note Boom's out for the season, and it's just you don't actually get your line completely back. You're just getting a key person back. You know, when there's 5 guys on that line, you know, you're getting 1 out of 5 back. You know, so it's not going to fix everything. So McVay needs to look for the shorter game, some more screen passes using Skoranek as a fullback, and that'll develop some more run game, and it'll get wide receivers open more.
I like it. I had a couple questions about some of the things you mentioned, but I'll get to those in a bit. 49ers, obviously, the key to the game is they need to start playing sound football. You know, they look like the most undisciplined team in the NFL at the moment, whether it's just not playing assignment football, um, keeping your lanes on kickoff coverage. Their special teams is ranked 27th in the league right now. Third down conversions, and then dumb penalties. It's just all around a very, very sloppy, undisciplined team. And it's kind of shocking because we haven't really seen that with Kyle Shanahan, but this team just looks a lot different in that way this year. So that's my key to the game.
Nice.
So let's talk a little bit about that Rams offensive line. So you guys, I think I saw like something a couple weeks ago, and it's like you're down to your third right guard, fifth left tackle, like some crazy. It was crazy to see. But you guys are going to be fresh off the bye. How is that line going to look this week? More starters back, or is it more of the same?
Like I said, I think it's I know like Brian Allen at center is back. I don't know about anybody else. I haven't seen anything else. I'm not expecting it to be much better than it has been, honestly. I'm hoping coming off of the bye, they've cleaned up a couple things, maybe reassured some of these second, third string guys. But I honestly, if the 49ers do what they did last time in the game 3 weeks ago, and that, I mean, was so unconventional how much pressure you guys put on, that's not traditionally what you do. If they do that again, I think we're going to be looking at the same issues as last time, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's without the line actually having key pieces come back or trades. Yeah, the line's not going to repair itself off the roster that we have. There's too many key people that are out, and the only thing that they can do is go to a different game plan of stop waiting to throw the ball deep.
Yeah,
that's what's getting Stafford sacked, because the line can't give him enough time. There's other ways to go about it. There's been bad offensive lines that still have offenses that move the ball. A West Coast offense would drastically change that. The deep ball is not always going to get it done for you when your line is as beat up as ours is. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and you guys have a good game plan that you could look at with what the Chiefs did to us last week. And now I know the Chiefs obviously have a pretty good O-line.
Yeah.
But they use the 49ers defensive line's aggressiveness against them, and they hit them with a lot of end arounds and quick screens, and they schemed the hell out of the team, and they really took it. And I know you don't have to take it out of Mahomes' hands, but he really didn't have to do much in this game to beat the team. So yeah, they have the perfect game plan to look at and to go by. We'll see if they end up doing that though. And so you mentioned Brian Allen back from injury this week. Any other players on the offense or defense that should be back this week from injury?
So the only person I'm really tracking, I was looking at, is Van. So Jefferson is coming back from IR, should be good to play. I'm happy it's happening during the bye week. It's going to help the offense just a little bit. Again, I just don't know how much of a help it's going to be this week, but it's still good to see him back off of IR for sure.
Yeah, Van Jefferson is going to. I mean, that's definitely going to help. It's going to probably cut back Skoranek, since he'll be taking the other side, which he's been huge. If I'm not mistaken, we do get back one of our corners. I don't recall what his name is off the top of my head, but I think we get one back. Was it Kobe Durant?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Kobe Durant comes back. Anybody who comes back who's a starter, is key.
I like it. So, now that we have two perspectives, on here from the Ram side of you, what has changed from last year to this year? Obviously, other than losing a bunch of star talent, like, is it literally just you lost star talent and that's the change in the team, or is there anything else going on that us other fans wouldn't recognize?
If you want to go first, I wouldn't say anything like obvious, or it's something that anyone else wouldn't recognize has changed. I feel like we're not as creative as last year, and I don't know exactly why. I don't know what piece that is. I mean, and that's from week 1, and I understand we were playing the Bills, and don't get me wrong, as much as I love the Rams, I went in knowing we're not winning this game as much as I wanted it. But even just from week 1, it's and then going into the second week, it's I just feel like we're not as creative as we used to be. But the other part of that is I think we're used to playing from in front, and we can't be as creative when you're playing from behind. So, but other than that, I would say there's not much that I would say tracking difference from last year, other than losing, those key pieces. Definitely a big deal. Missing Von Miller a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I think it has a lot to do with the common thing that happens every time a team wins a Super Bowl. People leave, coaches leave. We lost an offensive coordinator,
right,
defensive coordinator, and key players. It's the team gets, they get a chance to get out, and they get that big contract. They're now considered Super Bowl champions. And if you're a starter on that team and you have a chance to pick up, there's no other better recipe to getting a big payday. Other than coming off of a Super Bowl win and calling yourself a starter and now a champion.
Yeah, and it's crazy how certain players leaving, certain coaches leaving really affect a team. Obviously, losing Von Miller, that's going to be a huge loss.
Mm-hmm.
But I really didn't expect him to look the way he did this year, the way he does right now. I didn't expect that. And kind of the same thing happened with the 49ers. They lost offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel, obviously now the head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that's doing the same thing to the 49ers on their offense as losing Von Miller is doing to your guys' defense. It's it's been a huge loss. And once Kyle Shanahan gets out of that, his first drive that he has scripted, the offense just has looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it's been tough. And like you said, the Rams like to play a similar way. They like to take the lead, control the clock. Both teams play the same way. But how do the Rams do that with the running backs they have this year? The running game, you have, Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers, they wanted to trade for Christian McCaffrey, we saw.
Mm-hmm.
But so they're trying to improve it, but why, give me a little bit of info on how they can improve on that, I guess, with the running backs they have.
Yeah, well, look, I'll tell you now, and I said it again, I don't think any of us expected this with Cam Akers when we came in. I think over the summer we all said Cam Akers primary. And when we saw the first 2 weeks, I think not only Rams fans, but the entire NFL was like, oh, what the heck is going on? What happened here? And so now you are down to really just Darrell Henderson. And then, yes, I know you're talking about Ben Skoranek, taking that fullback, but I don't think our running game is the answer. Unfortunately, I don't get me wrong, I still love Darrell Henderson. I still think he's amazing. He had a great season last season. I think he can be that again, but it all goes back to the line. It goes back to if we can get some strength up front, then maybe they start contributing again. But I don't think the running game is where we're looking at this year.
Yeah, like you said, the running game is not going to be the breadwinner for the team. It just they picked up Malcolm Brown, who was on the Rams team the year before last.
Yeah.
And he was a good runner, but we also had a fully healthy line. So it's hard to determine where exactly they fit. When you have a line that's beat up as ours is. And Cam Akers, I'm not even sure how much longer he's going to be on the team, if he's going to be on the team. So it looks like Darrell Henderson is going to be the lead back with Malcolm Brown backing him up. And I've been reading some stories, they're possibly talking about Kareem Hunt, maybe, but I don't know how many picks we'd have to give up, and if it's worth it, because you're going to lose picks because you have a line that's beat up. I just, ride the wave out. keep as many picks as we can get. Maybe trade someone away and get some more picks so we can get our offensive line back healthy again.
Yeah,
and that's a good point. We had mentioned these teams are kind of at that point where it's like, you win here, you're in the thick of it. You lose here, you're not hurting. You still have plenty of opportunities to get back into the playoff race. The NFC is a disaster this year, but it is a week before the trade deadline. So like you said, that could be a tipping point on like, hey, we need to bring a guy in, or hey, yeah, we could start selling some people, get some picks back for next year.
Yeah.
It looks like we got a couple comments here. My dad hopped on to say, "What's up, boys? Good to see you all."
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
My mom hopped on, said, "Definitely the only one, Ral."
Definitely.
Yep. And then we got Bryce Mitchell here saying, "Go Birds." Which Birds?
That's my brother. He's an Eagles fan. He's feeling good right now. They look good. He's feeling good right now.
I'm really liking Jalen Hurts. He's my starting quarterback on my fantasy team, so I'm liking it. I'm liking him.
Hey, man, I was trying to get Jalen Hurts, and it's when he's coming up to your pick, and you're like, all right, that's my guy. Took him like 3 picks before me. I said, oh,
gone,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I had to deal with
10.
You got him?
Yeah, I started with the number 10 pick. I didn't pick him first, obviously, but when you're the number 10, you get the number 1 right after. So it's kind of a it's a 2-hit combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up with Dak Prescott and Trey Lance, and we obviously saw what happened. So, man, it's been rough for me.
That's a rough one right there.
Yeah, it's been a battle.
That's difficult.
Yeah. So everyone saw, the 49ers traded for Christian McCaffrey. It's been a debate for 49er fans as to whether it was a good trade, bad trade, whatever. But pertaining to this game, how do the Rams guard these offensive weapons? How do they take away these pieces that the 49ers have?
Yeah,
so it's definitely
good.
No, yeah, go ahead.
It's going to be a rough one on that one because they have a hard enough time stopping them without Christian McCaffrey, and we had a hard time stopping him ourselves when they played Carolina.
Yeah.
There was a couple of good hits that Ramsey got on him, but Ramsey's not going to be able to cover him the whole time, and neither is any dedicated person. It's going to. I think there's going to be a lot of man versus more than zone.
Anything to add, Brian?
Yeah. No, you took the point I was going to make. It was like, yeah, we've played them one time already, and it was difficult. It's definitely going to be hard. But the overall with the defense, I feel like they can do it. They've done it pretty well so far. If we go back, I know Christian McCaffrey wasn't on the team yet, but go back to that last game. It's despite Matthew Stafford's pick 6, it's a 57-yard touchdown and a 32-yard rushing touchdown. Like, it's those big plays. If we can if we can stop giving up those big plays and find a way to not let McCaffrey get through, like, I feel like we might actually out okay. But the moment we start giving shifts, I think we're done for sure.
Yeah.
They definitely need they need more rushing against Garoppolo. And that's been something that we've been missing a lot, because we don't have a key edge rusher like with Von Miller that we had, and that's why a lot of stories recently have been showing, the Rams taking another look at Robert Quinn, who was on the team before.
Mm-hmm.
And, he might have, a little bit of gas still left in the tank. He's a great player. He can put up numbers, and he's going to actually make the offensive line pay attention to him, because right now we're not getting any pressure off the edge. And Aaron Donald, you see he can take on double teams, but when he's on the field the majority of the time, because the offense is struggling, he's winded, he is, it's just that's what the problem is. They're on the field the majority of the game because the offense is struggling. And that's been one of the key problems that we've been having.
Yeah. And, something that the Rams might implement this week is, we saw Frank Clark playing D end against the 49ers, specifically going against Mike McGlinchey, and he was dominating him the whole game. 2 sacks, multiple pressures. So I would not be shocked to see Aaron Donald playing D end on Mike McGlinchey this week. He's the weak point. If you're gonna beat the O line, it's gonna be on him every single time.
Yeah, that's true. He could play from the outside as well. I mean, he could play anywhere on that line. And he's gonna demand a double team.
Yeah, and last time these two teams played, the 49ers defense looked like the number 1 defense in the league. That hasn't been the case the past 2 weeks. The Falcons obliterated the 49ers. We saw what the Chiefs just did.
Yeah.
And the 49ers have lost some key pieces on that defense. Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw missing from the interior D-line. They've been getting run all over on the interior of the D-line recently. And then we lose starting corner Emmanuel Mosley to a torn ACL. And that has been the huge loss. Everyone knows Charvarius Ward was the big key off-season signing. But Emmanuel Mosley looks to be the guy that was, the true number 1 corner locking down that side of the field. And teams have been testing and beating this 49ers defense regularly. What do you expect the Rams to dial up on this defense, since there are, plenty of holes and openings now?
Like I said, I'm hoping, like, sure, if we want to take us some shots, test that out a little bit, but we can do that. My fear is, like, what do you want to do first? Like, do you want to test that and maybe like throw a couple deep balls, see if you can go to that weak side where you got some holes in the backfield? Like, you can try it, but I'd rather see us do that short game early, like establish it. Like, I don't know if I even want to go that route and try to test that. It's definitely there. You can definitely do it. But I'd rather see us come out and go, you know what? I'm playing the sticks. I'm playing for the first down. And let that be the game plan instead. And see how it goes. Like, if we're up by, I don't know, I want comfortable for me. Like, I'm trying to be up by 14. then maybe we start testing out a couple things. But my other fear with that is that Matthew Stafford still forces so much. If you're just going to throw it up there to test it out, like, and he's how many? I don't even know how many pick sixes he's had. I've seen 49ers, and I remember the one with the Panthers. Like, I'd just rather not risk that unless we're up by at least 14.
Yeah, I agree. It's we got to play this game smart. It can't be a go out and try to throw a 50-yard pass to anybody that's open. He needs to follow the game plan. And McVay needs to actually call some better plays for him, because he knows what's working and he knows what isn't working. If he needs to go to the ground, stay on the ground, run the fullback, do shorter slant routes, whatever it takes. But if he's only betting on a deep ball, it's going to be another long game, and it's going to probably turn into a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, and we like to say Jimmy Garoppolo is going to give you one. And they also like to say Matthew Stafford is going to give you one as well. So, whoever can take advantage of that free one, probably gonna have a good chance to win the game.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I have another segment I added. It's October, Halloween coming up. Who is the one player on the 49ers that you fear the most in this game?
For me, still going to be Debo, because, again, I'm going back to that last game where, you catch the ball and you're like, okay, yeah, caught it. We're going to tackle him real quick. And he's off for 57-yard touchdown. You're like, what? And then the moves that he makes, like, it's just crazy what he can do. I'm still concerned about Christian McCaffrey. I know he's still kind of getting his footing there, but I think Debo is so scary because we can easily give up those big plays, and he is a big playmaker. He can do it so easily in such a quick fashion. I'm just nervous about it's going to be, I hate to say it's going to be a home game for you guys anyway in LA with all the way you guys travel, and that stadium just erupting when Debo rips down the field. So I'm real nervous of that.
Yeah, and I agree. It's definitely going to be Debo. Because every time he gets the ball, it seems like the Rams, they forget how to tackle.
Yeah, right.
They forget how to run. It looks like a video game. It really does. And it looks like they just hit the juke stick, the sprint button, and the Rams lose all consciousness. They're scrambling, and that's what happens all the time. And it's I think until they remember how to play like they did in the NFC Championship game, to where they got real physical with him, to where they almost had him out of the game. That's what it takes to stop him. It takes hits like that, which was a clean hit, but you gotta get him off of his game, and then there's still going to be other weapons that are going to be out there. Ayuk's going to be out there, so is McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And Kittle. And it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could say Cooper Kupp because you can't guard the guy, right? It's just you don't guard him. You try to limit him, I would say. But I'll go with Bobby Wagner this week. The 49ers, we talked about McCaffrey getting into his groove. The 49ers run game has been horrendous the past couple weeks. And, if the 49ers are forced to throw, Jimmy Garoppolo only throws over the middle. And, he fits it in these tight windows. And this is why he throws those, he gives you one because he's trying to fit it into these tight windows. And, Bobby Wagner, Hall of Famer. If there's somebody that's going to get one and it's not Jalen Ramsey, it'll probably be Bobby Wagner over the middle. So that's who I fear this week.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's I'm hoping that happens.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I thought he lost a step, but it might have been when we played you guys, or it might have been a different game. But it was the team was on the 1 yard line and they ran the ball and it looked like an easy walk-in touchdown. And then I just see Bobby Wagner fly out of nowhere and stick the guy, drive him back, and I was like, damn, this dude hasn't lost a step yet. I don't know which game it was. It might have been against us. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might have been that game.
Yeah. All right. So, we have first off, do you guys have any questions, about the 49ers before I head on to the next segment?
I mean, for me, I think you addressed it already with Jimmy G. I was kind of curious, what your thoughts are, as he's taken over, and what do you feel like how he's going to progress the rest of the season? Because he was looking real confident on that when he played the Rams. He was looking real good. I was like, oh, we're in trouble. But the last 2 weeks have not been great. You think he's going to be okay the rest of the season?
It's so frustrating. Jimmy G is it's a roller coaster every week because even in the Atlanta game, Jimmy G looked awesome.
Yeah.
In the Atlanta game, he was throwing deep balls like I've never seen him throw deep balls, but the receivers were dropping them. And then he hit Ayuk on a 45-yard crossing route, and then there was a flag on the center for holding. And it was just when Jimmy G plays good, it seems like everyone else doesn't play good. And then when everyone else is playing good, Jimmy G doesn't play good. So it's so frustrating. I just want to see the offense put it together. Everyone put it together and play a complete game. Even against the Chiefs this last week, we were putting drives together. We would start on our 20. We'd march right down the field to the opposite 30. And then it's just stall out, three and out. Once we get to the 30, kick a field goal. And it happened every single time. And I don't know if it's the play calling, if Kyle Shanahan gets a little conservative once he gets, into the field goal area, kind of right outside the red zone, or if it's just Jimmy G. I don't know. I really can't tell you how the rest of the season is going to go with the guy because he's a roller coaster. And I think that's why nobody wanted to trade for him. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think you're right, and I'm like, is he playing for a chance to go somewhere else? And I'm like, it's not like he's trying to prove himself still, so he can be traded, and someone actually is interested. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having him. I want the same Jimmy G that played last week. I want the safety giving Jimmy G the highly pressured. I mean, that's the only thing that we have. Because all the games you guys have dominated us for ever since I was a kid. I remember all these games. And it doesn't go away. There's always going to be 2 losses usually on the season, and it's going to be the Niners. The one that brought some joy to my heart was the NFC Championship game from last year, or something like that. I just because it seems like how you were mentioning that when he's having a good game, the rest of the team isn't. Well, it seems like when they play the Rams, they're both on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. It's always the division games where it doesn't matter which team is better. It's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, with Jimmy G, how it's any given week in the NFL. We just saw the Panthers with nobody beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
You think of that, that's Jimmy G weekly though. Which Jimmy G is going to show up for us this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, on to, our favorite segment on this channel. Our channel's BullyBall because, the 49ers, they like to and they used to play, they used to bully teams. They've been getting bullied the past couple weeks. So we have this segment. It's called Bully of the Week, where we give our prediction of which player on our team, and you guys will give your prediction for your team of the player that's, going to dominate physically, disruptive game changer. It could be an O lineman, a receiver, just it's not really the MVP. It's just the guy that's like, you're going to be like, wow, that dude, he disrupted the game. He changed the flow of the game, that type of thing. So, Brian, if you want to start with your Bully of the Week.
I knew this question was coming. I thought about it like for a couple of days now, and I'm going Tyler Higbee. He missed National Tight Ends Day last week. We're playing to the sticks. It's going to be 3rd and short. Tyler Higbee can make a difference right there, getting us those first downs. He's big enough. Matthew Stafford's not going to have enough time to throw it down the field. Tyler Higbee can get out there and get us those first downs. I'm expecting big numbers, like maybe not like super impressive, like not as great as game ever, but like the number of targets he's going to get and the catches he's going to have. I'm thinking he's going to have a really, really big day and play a huge part in this game if we stick to the game plan. If we stick to that game plan.
I like it.
I'm going to go with Skoranek. I think I don't think he's going to be the touchdown leader or even the rushing leader, but I think he's going to play a key part in making big plays happen, whether it be on the ground, whether it be just a short 10-yard pass, whatever it may be. So he's going to contribute more to giving Stafford time, I think, and allowing big plays to happen and open up the field for us.
I like it. So we got 2 offensive players from you guys. Surprising for the Bully of the Week. If you had to give a defensive player, I just want to know, who would it have been?
Man, if I had to give a defensive player, I want to say Aaron Donald, but I'll give it to Aaron Donald. But what I'm really hoping for, do I want to say it? Yeah, I'm really hoping that Jalen Ramsey can maybe can pick off Jimmy G just once, because he's going to throw it deep. Like I said, he's going to throw it deep at least once, and if he can be there for it and just position himself right on defense, Jalen Ramsey could have a huge day. He really, really could.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'd like to see either Wagner or Donald, one of them, to get pressure on him to make those interceptions for Ramsey happen.
Yeah,
or even for the forced fumbles for recoveries.
Yeah.
Something to get Jimmy G off of his game. And if it can happen from the line to set up Ramsey for the deep ball and the interception, I'll take it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The 49ers, it doesn't really matter who's playing on the O-line, they always seem to scheme Aaron Donald out of the game.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see him finally, make that game-changing play. And I mean, he did make the impact in that championship game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
But in the regular season, they somehow find a way to just get him out of the way.
Yeah, he's not a factor.
I don't know how they do it. But so am I gonna go defense? No, I'm gonna go on offense. You probably think you know who it is, but I'm gonna say George Kittle.
Okay.
Because Deebo Samuel, he does show up and he always shows out against the Rams. I think you guys are going to scheme him out of the game this time. He hasn't been doing much the past couple weeks. He has a hamstring injury that he's dealing with this week as well. And George Kittle finally started producing in the offense last week. I think he had 8 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. So even if Deebo plays, I think you guys are going to try to take him out of the game. You're going to be worried about Christian McCaffrey, Deebo, and I think Kittle is going to be the bully of the week again for us this week because he was also my bully of the week last week.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, it's everyone's favorite time of the podcast, the score prediction for the game. So whoever wants to start.
I'll go, and I'll be honest. I think the score it could be too high. I'm going 23-20, and I'll give it to the Rams. But if we lose, just flip it. Still 23-20. Then again, I think it might be too high. I honestly believe that if those points if the 49ers win, it's going to be on some big plays. If the Rams win, it's because we stuck to the game plan. And if the Rams lose, it could be lower than 20 because we still just cannot produce any offense. But give me 23-20, and I'll go Rams.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go just knowing that everything, the way it sits right now and how we're playing, I'm going to go 24-10 Niners.
Wow. What's the reasoning behind that?
Like I said, it's just we are beat up. And we just don't have key people. And especially against a team that we always crumble to, there's just nothing that's showing different that it's going to go in any different direction. As much as I'd like it to be opposite, I don't see it.
If we only score 10 points, I won't be surprised, but I'm going to be real upset.
That's fair.
I've seen a lot of stats on offense, today when I was just going through some stuff, and I think we're 32nd in rushing. We're in the 20. I think it was 22 in passing, or that even might be being generous. There's just the offense from this team right now is just it's not looking like a Super Bowl winning team, and it's injury dictates all teams.
True.
And my score prediction is going to be 17-13 49ers win the game. Low scoring again, because both offenses are just horrendous right now. The 49ers, we talk about all these weapons. They haven't done anything with them the past couple of weeks. And we've seen them score less than 20 points multiple times this year. And I think both of these teams are going to struggle to score. It's going to be a turnover in probably the opposite red area that's going to change the game. And I think it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a battle, physical game. And, it might be the last team that has the ball wins.
Yeah, for sure. That could be it.
I would not say no to that.
And, one last question for you guys. You spoke on it earlier, but this game is at Levi South. What are we expecting the ratio of fans to be at this game?
That's an unfair question.
Yeah, I know, right? That's like
that isn't fair.
You know how I feel about LA. There's too much going on. 2 football teams, 2 basketball teams. There's too much going on. You're gonna have 70% of the stadium. y'all are gonna dominate that place. We're not holding tickets this time like we did in the playoffs.
No, and you know, I've been to SoFi, and that just knowing, I went during the Lions game, you know, and it looked like Lions, California.
That's right. Yeah.
I didn't even know that many Lions fans existed. You know, it was something that it was unreal.
Yeah.
I had so many Lions fans sitting around me, and I was just like, you know, this doesn't look like LA anymore. You know, where am I? You know, I took the wrong flight. That's what it looked like. So it seems like, hilarious. You know, that destination is where every team travels to.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, cheap plane tickets, you know.
Yeah.
And I was on Twitter earlier today, and I saw a bunch of Rams fans selling tickets to the game, and you know they're like, "Oh, I'm selling these tickets, Rams fans only, though."
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, I know you ain't turning down no money.
Yeah, right. Oh, just wait. 2 days before the game, day before the game, they'll be like, there are no Ram fans to sell this to.
Yeah.
All right, 49er fans, you can have it.
Don't kid yourself. You're gonna take your money when when you're not going, you want that money back.
And you know, since you guys have been Rams fans for so long, why? You know, what is the reason? You know, are the Rams fans still all in St. Louis, or you know, they just, you know, what happened? Because I have a friend at work that was a St. Louis Rams fan from St. Louis. He hates the Rams now. He wants nothing to do with them leaving St. Louis. So what happened?
Yeah, I think they're a little mad. It's funny. The year that Jared Goff took us to the Super Bowl, I went to that Sunday night game in Chicago, and all of the St. Louis fans showed up, like still supporting. Like, you know, there were a lot of them, but a lot of them did talk about like how hurt they were, how much they wanted them to stay, and all of the money that was put in, like we'll build a new stadium and whatnot. So I think they're a little hurt. I think they a little disappointed, and like I said, in LA, I think there's I mean, there are fans, maybe. Like, there are some fans, especially when you start winning, it looks like you can go to a Super Bowl. There's just so much to do. You can find other things to do than go to a football game. Plus, you got two teams. You don't make it to a Rams game, you want to go to a Chargers game. Like, I don't know. It's just difficult. But I went to SoFi for the Bears game last season, like, same way. The Bears travel well anyway, and they dominated that place. So,
yeah, you know, St. Louis has a you know, a bone to pick with Stan Kroenke, and you know, he's going to shovel the money. You know, it's already been decided. You know,
he's going to pay.
He's going to shovel out the $571 million, you know, to the city of St. Louis. Maybe that'll, you know, change the tune a little bit. But you know, Stan Kroenke wanted to go where, you know, where the big revenue is. You know, St. Louis isn't going to give the same market as Los Angeles. You know, let's just be real.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not New York, then it needs to be Los Angeles. I mean, where else are you going to put a stadium like SoFi? You're not going to put it in St. Louis. I mean, I wouldn't want to put it there if I had that kind of money. You know, I want to be in LA. I want to be where the celebrities are, and have that type of, you know, venue. I mean, I don't know if I would go as far as, you know, going over on the city of, you know, St. Louis, but you know, I'm not in charge of, you know, the millions and millions that they are, you know, so it's hard to say. But I mean, that's what it comes down to, is Stan Kroenke and, you know, the city of St. Louis settling, you know, their lawsuit and their bone, you know, the pick, because when Kroenke bought the team, you know, he bought it from Georgia St. Pierre, I think her name was, or Georgia something. And, you know, she's the one that moved the team from LA to St. Louis.
Right.
So she, you know, she ran the team good over there, and they got a Super Bowl out of it. So, I mean, I'm not really sure why they're as angry as they are, seeing as how they got a Super Bowl win. You know, it's not like they moved to Los Angeles and got the Super Bowl win that they should have had. You know,
right. Yeah.
You know, they got the benefits of both. You know, they got the greatest show on turf. They got to watch a lot of Hall of Famers, you know, over there.
Yeah, and I can say I would love to go see that stadium you guys have out there in LA. You know, it looks insane.
It's cool.
I've seen the photos, your guys' photos.
Yeah,
my parents went to that game, the NFC Championship. It looked crazy. I can't wait to see it someday.
Yeah, it's an awesome place for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely much better than our stadium. You know, ours was only built a couple years before, and ours just looked like a dang cookie cutter. They pulled it off some college campus or something. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah,
it's definitely not as impressive as I thought it would be.
Yeah,
it's I don't even know if it's in the top 5 of, you know.
Definitely not. It's
being as brand new as it is. I mean, that's one thing that I can definitely say, is that, you know, LA, we definitely have a better stadium.
They did it right.
Most definitely. Well, That's all I got for the show. I appreciate you guys coming on.
Sure.
I doubt we're gonna be able to do this again in the playoffs because both these teams struggling right now. So, I'll definitely have you guys back on in the off season. We'll definitely keep trying to do this into next year. If you got any final words for the BullyBall fans, go for it.
No, I was gonna say thanks for having me on as always. Happy to be back for a second time, and good luck this weekend. But overall, go Rams. I think we can pull this out.
Yeah, same. Thanks for having me on. I look forward to doing some more. Hopefully, the Rams could pull out some wins so we can actually have some playoff podcasts.
Yeah.
And definitely go Rams. I'm hoping for a W.
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming in.
All right, appreciate it.
Have a good one.